How can we turn to our advantage the strife and conflict instigated by our rivals? This is the life lesson we'll learn from the 16th star of Vedic Astrology, Jyeshtha, the Power-Wielder. In this series, Life Lessons of the Vedic Nakshatra, we'll discover how life really works by exploring the 27 constellations through the mystical Sanskrit words of the Vedic Nakshatra Sutra. Hello and welcome back to the series Life Lessons from the Vedic Nakshatras. We are taking the wisdom of the Vedas through the description of the Nakshatras given in the Vedic text Taittiriya Brahmana, and we're seeing how well this wisdom applies to all the different facets of our everyday life in the modern world. So today we're up to the star Jyeshtha, which is about rivals and power struggles. Let's start exploring this sutra, as we always do, by taking a minute to listen to the Sanskrit of the original sutra itself, as recorded in a musical form by me and the students that did the online Nakshatra Sutra class with me. Here you go. Indrasya rohini shanat parasthat patishanat tavasat Indrasya rohini shanat parasthat patishanat tavasat. So this one reads Indrasya rohini shanat parasthat patishanat avasthat. The power-wielder's ambition needs attacks for counterattacks. Now let's quickly look at the meaning of the four important words in the sutra. Okay, the first one is Indra. Indra literally indicates a person or a thing that has a lot of power and that can exercise a lot of power. So this is why kings are usually referred to as Indra. And this is why the king of the gods has the title of Indra. So this whole theme shows us that this nakshatra is going to have to do with power. And if you know this backstory of this Indra, the god Indra, then you know that it's not just power, but power struggles and the intrigue by which power is obtained. The second important word in the sutra is Rohini. Now that's weird, because usually the second word is the name of the nakshatra. And we're used to this nakshatra going by the name Jyeshtha. The Taittiriya Brahmana also names this nakshatra Jyeshtha. But here in this particular text, in this one sutra, the author uses the word Rohini instead of Jyeshtha. Okay, the reason why they do that is because the sutra only has 6 words to use, and sometimes the author wants to get some specific meaning or imagery out of the sutra and doesn't want to add more words. So they use an unconventional name. Why Rohini? Rohini indicates arousal, inspiration, passion, ambition. And that's, key to the nature of Jyeshtha. The arousal of passion and ambition for power. That's what Indrasya Rohini is. The word Rohini can fit as a name for Jyeshtha because Jyeshtha is based on a red star. The Yogatara, or the anchoring star of Jyeshtha, is Antares, which that word literally means the rival of Mars, because it's named such because it's very, very red star. And the word Rohini means reddened, impassioned. So any red star can be referred to as Rohini. So here the sutra takes advantage of that to bring in the concept of passion and kind of a bit of a greediness. The other name, the more conventional name, Jyeshtha, that means best. So it's a synonym for Indra. So he's already got the word Indra, so he doesn't need to say Jyeshtha again. It would be, in a sutra where you only have a few words, it would be redundant. So Jyeshtha means best, just like Indra does. And that name shows that this nakshatra is interested in being the best, becoming number one. So it's the ambition to be the best. The third important word in the sutra is the prastat, the thing the nakshatra needs. That word is Shrina. Shrina means attack. To hurt something, to injure something, to attack something is Shrina. So that tells us that, okay, Jyeshtha is emotional and it's aroused, it's passionate because it's Rohini, but it's not like Rohini Nakshatra, which is a bit gentle. It's all about attacking. So even though it's got passion and emotion at its nature, it's not the gentle type. It's the intense type. And the fourth and final important word in the sutra is the avasthat, the thing it wants to accomplish, which is pratishrina. So the thing it needs is shrina, and the thing it wants to accomplish is pratishrina. Shrina means attack, pratishrina means counterattack. So the sutra is describing this nakshatra as some sort of thing that evokes attacks so that it can counterattack. And this gives you the hint that this nakshatra is really good at strategy and intrigue and all the mysterious manipulations that go into power struggles. So I'll read you my summary explanation from the book that I'll be publishing soon. The summary of the sutra is, those who wield power, that's the Indra, they slake their passions and achieve their ambitions, Rohini, by subtly provoking enemies or rivals to attack, Shrina, which exposes their weaknesses and intentions and allows counterattack, Pratishrina, to be justified and legitimized. Now I'd like to read you a bit from the manuscript for this book about the life lesson. What does this really teach us about Jyeshtha Nakshatra? And what I said in the beginning was, how can we turn to our advantage the strife and conflict instigated by our rivals? So to read a little bit and explain, I write, the sutra on Jyeshtha teaches us a crucial life lesson about how to deal with the provocations and aspersions constantly being cast upon us by those who consider us their rivals. If we study the sutra carefully, we'll realize that such rivals seldom, if ever, approach in a direct, honest, and straightforward way. So don't expect your true enemy, this now, I'm just explaining this now, I'm not reading it. Don't expect your true enemy to come right in front of your face and say, not only to you, but especially to the onlookers, hey, I'm your enemy. Don't expect that. The enemies that are really dangerous are the ones that hide amongst your friends and the ones that hide themselves in positions where they can always nudge at you and always touch you, always just provoke you. And what are they trying to do? They're trying to surreptitiously agitate us until we pop and lash out in retaliation. So that's what they do. That's exactly what the power seeker, Indra, needs. The prastat for Indra is Srinat. It needs to be attacked. Indra himself came into power as the king of the gods only because of the attack of Vritra, an asura. So retaliation is exactly what your rival needs. Why? Why does your rival need you to retaliate? Why? Because once you retaliate, you expose yourself. You show your cards, as is said in poker. You show your hand. Like if you ever watch the old samurai movies with the sword fights, the realistic sword fights, most of the fight is just the two guys standing there looking at each other, like moving their foot a slight millimeter, waiting for the other one to attack first. Why? Because if you get impatient and you attack first, you reveal your hand. You reveal your cards. You show what kind of strengths you have. You show what kind of weaknesses you have. You show your style that you attack. How do you throw your punches? That all gets shown. And then the enemy can make a strategy. They say, aha, this person's weak here, they're strong here, they're coming at me this way, now I have a strategy, I can defeat them. If you attack first in response to provocation, you are put at a great disadvantage because the enemy is just watching you, waiting for your attack, so they're completely ready to observe everything about you and learn all your strategy. And then the additional thing is, now all of a sudden your rival has become legitimized and you've become delegitimized. You know why? Because as far as the world knows, the world doesn't see this jerk hiding amongst your friends and your family on your back every 5 minutes. The world doesn't see that at all. That's all really surreptitiously done. What does the world see? The world only sees like, hey man, you all of a sudden lashed out at this person out of the blue. That's what it looks like to the world, right? So that's what you have to watch out for. When you get provoked, if you respond to that provocation, you put yourself at a disadvantage because you seem like the bad guy. So you lose moral strength and legal strength. And the opponent gains a legitimacy. Well, actually, it's they who attacked you first, but they did it surreptitiously, make you counterattack, and then they all of a sudden, it's just self-defense, as far as the world thinks, right? So you don't get any support from friends, family, society, because you look like the bad guy. So that's the awful way in which politics works. That's politics. Politics, look at 9/11. What the American government was able to do, what it wanted to do, because of the attack. Because of the attack, it was able to counterattack and go in and wreck things over there. Right? Donald Trump, perfect example. Maga ascendant, so he's got a lot of power, inherited power, gifted power, and Jyeshtha moon, conjunct Ketu. So he's got Jyeshtha mastery. Subterfuge with Ketu and the moon in Jyeshtha. So he's got people thinking he's not even a politician, but he's the most masterful politician, not in the sense of statesmanship or any of that stuff, but in the sense of understanding this dynamic of Jyeshtha is how to profit from people attacking you. How to profit from, provoke people to attack you so that you're justified in crushing them. So then what is the life lesson? What can we do about this, right? This is the dynamic of politics. This is the dynamic of intrigue and jealousy and rivalry, but what can we do about it? What's the lesson to be learned? So I write that the lesson to be learned is never to respond to the provocations and taunts of ambitious power seekers. That's the thing that we have to learn. Don't respond to a person who's obviously taunting you. Your silence is your power. Your calmness in the face of the provocation and taunts is your power, because now you can play that same game on them. So what you do is you remain silent, you remain calm. They just get less and less subtle. Unless they give up and go away, which is fine, then we're happy, right? But if their fangs are really in our shoe, then they're going to keep coming. But none of the provocations and taunts are working, so they're going to keep upping the volume on the provocation and taunts. Eventually, it's not going to be so subtle, right? So the silence and the calmness in us will cause the rival to be less and less subtle in the provocations and taunts until they finally cross the line and reveal themselves as outright aggressors. Then they screwed everything up for themselves. Now they can't do their attack counterattack thing. Now it's shown that they're the initial attackers, and then you can counterattack with legitimacy. So that's the life lesson from Jyeshtha. Is kind of two things. Here's the reality of what politics is. Here's the reality of what power seeking is. The reality is manipulation. And finding manipulations of morals, manipulation of laws, just to get any excuse to do something immoral and illegal. That's the reality of what politicians and power struggle is. And that's one thing important that Jyeshtha teaches us. The other thing important that Jyeshtha teaches us is the self-defense against that. Don't be a pawn. Don't reflexively respond in the way that you're expected to respond. Remain silent, remain calm. That will make them come out and make the first move. And then you've got them where they tried to get you. Okay, great. So this was a very interesting nakshatra to study. Stay tuned. Subscribe to my channel. For the next nakshatras, we're going to keep going all through all 27 of them. And we do our weekly live sessions on Thursdays at 5:30 Pacific time. So you're more than welcome to come and participate in those. There's a lot of Q&A in those live sessions. Thank you so much. See you around. Don't miss the life lessons from the other 26 star clusters of Vedic astrology. Subscribe to my channel now. And keep your ears up for announcements about the release of this book and the next online classes about it. Thanks.